In recent years, London rental prices have skyrocketed by double digits and has left a lot of tenants struggling to keep up. And although this rental growth in the capital has started to slow down, the affordability crisis is ongoing. Now, this has taken the attention of a lot of politicians, specifically the London Mayor Sadiq Khan, who continues to push for rent control. In this video, we're going to review that rent control proposal, but we're also going to see the real reason the rental crisis is happening here in the capital, as well as what landlords should be doing right now. Now, if you are a London landlord, this probably is going to be a video that you want to watch. Stay tuned. The debate over rent control in London is intensifying as Labour introduces some bold proposals that can transform the city's rental market. Mayor Sadiq Khan's flagship key worker living rent aims to provide affordable homes to key workers. Now, these include teachers, bus drivers and nurses. Now, these rents are going to be capped of 40% of these people's income, now potentially saving them up to £600 per month on rent compared to the private rental sector. Khan's proposal seeks to address the growing problem of the rental crisis in the capital, where we see 24% of tenants having to spend over 50% of their salary on rent, and 21% of tenants having to struggle to just meet basic needs or have to rely on debt. This plan includes the construction of at least 6,000 of these homes to be built by 2030 to support the city's workforce. Now, this seems to be part of the bigger plan of Labour of 1.5 million homes over the course of 5 years. Are they going to achieve that? Well, I hope so, because it's always good to see that the government is now focusing on the real problem, which is there aren't enough homes in the capital and across the country, instead of bashing landlords. Is that true or not? Leave me a comment below, because I'm always interested in your view, whether you're a renter or a landlord. However, rental control plans do face challenges. When we look at Labour Deputy Leader Angela Rayner, who did cite that this could be a potential risk to the rental market stability. Also, when we look at Matthew Pennycook, who surprisingly argued against it, saying that this could be disastrous, of course, and he argued that it could reduce supply and see landlord investors leave the market. We've seen examples of these in other countries and cities, such as Sweden and Berlin, where we saw that stock really reduce. And despite this debate, the London rental market is experiencing a record high level of stock. In fact, Foxtons reported that the October report is 8% up year on year on stock in London. Now, this is the highest in 4 years. Central London has seen robust demand, with 15% year-to-date increase in applicants. While the amount of stock we're seeing this year compared to 4 years ago is great in terms of options for this 15% applicants, affordability continues to be an issue. In fact, the average rent in London stands at £2,200 plus. And some areas in London, like Harrow and Hillingdon, are seeing more than 16% up in rental growth. That being said, annual rate growth stands just under 1%, which is the slowest across the country. And as we look at the weakest performers, we can see that Camden and Wandsworth are right at the bottom of the list. So let me explain the rental crisis in London, which can take many forms because of course it's impacted by many factors, including supply, demand, the economy, jobs and so forth. But we're going to focus on the introduction of Section 24, which limits the ability of landlords to be able to offset mortgage interests and reduce their tax. Now, this was introduced recently, of course, and a lot of landlords have claimed that it's completely unfair, especially as we see mortgage interests rise and, of course, as we see the cost of living increase. Now, this was one of the major factors and what influenced a lot of landlords leaving the market, especially in London. Why London? Because this is where mortgages are going to be the highest, because house prices are the highest across the country. And so this tax change introduced by the then Chancellor, George Osborne, pushed a lot of landlords into higher tax brackets. These challenges extended beyond landlords. In fact, we had reduced maintenance, it compromised property condition, and of course it reduced supply in the rental sector, impacting both tenants and landlords. And the best way I can explain this is by way of a story. So meet Michael, the professional investor, who has multiple properties and earns £110,000 a year. This is his main income. Now with this, he pays £27,000 in mortgage interest. Now, by 2016, 2015, this was absolutely fine for Michael. But as the Section 24 was phased in between 2017 and 2020, this could have had a major impact on Michael. As the 25% tax relief was phased out, his deductible amount dropped. In fact, his tax liability increased significantly. That £23,000 deductible that he had before had gone down to almost £3,000. And the fact that there are even more changes to the rental market in 2025 absolutely means you should subscribe to this channel so you don't miss a thing. And if you're a London landlord navigating these challenges, it may be time for some strategic decision making. You may be making part of the 19% of landlords who already sold their properties in the last 12 months, or potentially on the fence and make part of the 40% plus that are thinking of selling in the next 12 months. Either way, it's important that you reevaluate your property investment and look at all your options. Because with property, you can diversify, but before doing so, speak to a tax expert. Because again, Section 24 is the biggest impact and those mortgages. But also looking at diversifying, you can look at HMOs and converting your property into a student let, holiday let, corporate let. Speak to a property professional to make sure that you can maximize on your property investment. And if it's time to go, then it's time to go. But don't do so until you have had all of the options in front of you. And if you want to see the real consequences of rental control, make sure you watch my next video.